Hello everybody, hope you're feeling fine. Hope you're feeling fine. Hope this year is treating you very beautifully, very excellently, and you're loving the direction of it. I'll be happy for you if that is the case. But even if that is not the case, you must be hopeful. You must be expectant. You must be positive. Because this is the year for those who will go and create. My name is Bolanle Olotunde Jenrola, popularly known as BOJ. In this video, I'll be sharing my experience of traveling from Nigeria to China, how I got my visa, chose my airline, and navigated life in Guangzhou. Whether you're planning a business trip, attending the Canton Fair, or just curious about the process of going from Nigeria to China, this video is for you. You can also look forward to another video that I'll be making on manufacturing in China through the Canton Fair. Let's dive in. I'm sure there'll be people who go to China because of tourism, but that's probably not common. Many Nigerians, many Africans, many people from all over the world visit China monthly to do business. It is the hub of business in the world. Oh my God, those guys are the kings of manufacturing. I experienced it live and direct. Their culture breeds manufacturing. It's almost as though they wake up, they sleep, and they're like, what are we creating today? So I resonate very deeply and very powerfully with the Chinese people. Because, oh my God, these guys are creators. And I told you that is my theme for the year. Creation, creating. Maybe the theme for my life really, because I'm going to be creating every single year now, because I believe that that is what the Creator wants us to do. So this is why I traveled to China. I don't know why you want to go to China, but I'm going to guide you on how to go to China from Lagos or from anywhere in Nigeria really. Like I said, I'm sure some of you be wondering, oh, why did she go to China? I don't know what your own reason is, but my reason was that I was looking to manufacture a new product. And I knew that China was the place to go. I chose Guangzhou because Asia is a continent like no other. They don't speak English. They don't really care about speaking English. So if I had gone to a different city, maybe a city different from Beijing, Shanghai, or Guangzhou, it might have been a bit harder for me. So I chose Guangzhou because it's a hub for innovation and efficiency, and it's a modern city. Plus, the Canton Fair happens in Guangzhou, and it's the best place to connect with manufacturers and explore what's possible. That's why I decided to choose Guangzhou as the city in China for my trip. So now let's talk about what you need to do. Before you go to China, like any country in the world, you need a visa. And in general, you have two options. You can either handle the application yourself or use an agent. Personally, I opted for an agent because I wanted a straightforward experience, and I also wanted it to be as smooth as possible. I did not want to risk being denied because I made a mistake in filling a form, or maybe I couldn't even get an interview because, the process is just bureaucratic like that. But let me tell you, it wasn't as smooth as I expected, despite using an agent. So this is what I'm saying. You can decide to do it yourself, and that's fine. But if you have extra budget, I would say probably use an agent, because even with an agent, getting a visa to China wasn't that easy for me. So at the time I went and I applied for my visa in 2024, they were not really open to Nigerians, except you've either gone to China before, you had a US visa or a UK visa or a Canadian visa, because apparently Nigerians were using it as a way of jackpotting. Nigerians would go to China and not come back, and so because of that, they were wary of the people they allowed into their country. So my agent got us a time slot for the biometrics, but when I got to the VFS Global Office, that's the official center for submitting China visa applications in Lagos, I was shocked to see many people who have been queuing for 5 days hoping to get an interview. Like, I was completely shocked and taken aback. I'm like, Kilode, like, why are these people trying to go? Like, see, even the kind of people I was seeing, I'm like, In fact, the security guy was being very rough and he was just telling people, go back. I'm like, is this like, are we trying to buy? In fact, I don't even know how to explain that experience. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And it just speaks to the systems that we have in this country and how it could definitely be better. I'm just so glad I used an agent because I called them immediately to tell them, this is terrible. Like, this queue is mad. First of all, they told us the thing starts by 8. And I was like, what is my own time for the interview? They were like, oh, they don't know. But we should just go there. So I left my house at 6 a.m., was there by 7, and there was a crowd at 7 just because of Chinese visa. And I'm just like, I can't do this. And the person said, yes, you shouldn't do this. We will help you get a slot and all that. So luckily for me, I was able to go back home. And then I came back the next day. And they were right there. Whilst we were trying to enter the next day when I went, I could really see many people who had been queuing for 5 days being turned back because they did not have like a strong visa on their passport. Thankfully, I had a 5-year US visa, so that made my application smoother than possible. But it was just really, really sad seeing people being turned down. So please confirm what the rules are before subjecting yourself to any embarrassment or just wasting money to apply for visa that would never be yours. So find out. Very, very important tip is to find out what the rules are and be sure that you qualify. Some people will say, let me just go and try my luck. And I guess there's a place for that. But know the rules and follow the rules is one of the key steps to getting any visa. Hopefully they would remove this barrier and allow anybody who is interested to get their Chinese visa. But as at the time of this recording, this is the rule. Now, for your passport photos, you will definitely need a passport to submit in your application. Just read the rules from the website and take what they say you should take. Because trust me, those guys at the embassy, at the VFS Global, they are sharks. They will charge you a very high amount of money to take your passport for you. And you probably don't need all that drama. If you don't really care and you have the money, that's fine. I also took some daddy as backup, even though I had obeyed the rules because I was scared and I didn't want anything to affect my application. But I think you generally be safe if you just Google the specifications online and follow it. I don't want to tell you any spec now because what if the specs have now changed by then? And so I think 10 days later, I got my visa and I was very happy for that. So another thing I noticed is that it's easier to get visas to go to China at certain periods of the year. I was going for the Canton Fair, and so it gave them a legitimate, so you cannot just go to China with no purpose. Either someone requests for you, the government requests for you, your business partner requests for you. Me, I was going for the Canton Fair. So we got one of the manufacturers there to send us a letter saying that I was coming to meet them at the Canton Fair. So that made it easy. So that's another thing that you need to factor in as well. So as soon as I got my visa, yay, I was happy. It was now time to book flights. I had gotten my visa very close to the Canton Fair that I wanted to go and see the manufacturers, so I couldn't waste time. The options that I had were Egypt Air, Qatar Airways, Kenya Airways, and China Southern Airlines. So this trip, usually I'll just go with Qatar Airways. I love traveling with that 5-star airline. But for this particular trip, the business was sponsoring me and I wasn't about to do anything overtly luxurious. I also did not know what the outcome of the trip was going to be, if I would achieve my goals. So I'm like, nah, I'm not using Qatar Airways this time around because I checked the price and with the dollar exchange rate, things were really high. When I Googled, I did a lot of Googling for like 3 days. I eventually settled with Kenya Airlines, mainly because they were more affordable than Qatar, which I would have loved. And yeah, this trip was not a vacation, it was a business trip, and I just wanted it to be practical. I was very nervous about the decision, especially when my flight was delayed by a few hours. I was just angry. Like, they delayed it twice, and I'm just like, this Kenya Airways. But trust me, Kenya Airways is not bad at all for going to China. I kept thinking, oh, I should have just gone with Qatar, but to my surprise, Kenya Airways was fantastic. From the quality of their food to the leg room and the restrooms, it was a great experience. They really do deserve the title of the Pride of Africa. I really am glad that I went with them. It educated me and it made me proud to be an African. Now, nothing prepared me for how far China is to Nigeria. Oh my God. Anyways, and I think maybe choosing Kenya Airways also now made it farther because it was almost 6 hours from Lagos to Nairobi. Then from Nairobi to Guangzhou, it was another about 12 hours. Oh, that was long. I mean, it was just long. And I was tired, obviously. It was long because they always fuel in Bangkok after 8 hours into the journey. So, and they will stay in Bangkok for like 2 hours before now proceeding to, I think the trip was like 13 hours. Oh, that was long. Nothing prepared me for how long that trip was going to be, but I mean, Singapore is farther, Australia is farther, so it's still fine. Now, before I tell you about my experience when I arrived in Guangzhou, I think that I need to mention something that gave me great concern before I went. I didn't know how I was going to be communicating with my team in Nigeria, my family, because there's no Instagram and there's no WhatsApp access. In fact, no Instagram, no WhatsApp, no YouTube, no chat GPT in China. Like, they have this, the government has blocked access to all these things, and people kept saying, oh, you can use the VPN, but even the VPN may not work. So that was another thing that was really bothering my mind, that what kind of country is this where social media does not work? Apparently they have their own social media. But those things were not even that hard. Like, in hindsight, I shouldn't have worried so much. And thankfully, all of the research that I did, because I researched heavily before entering that country, and those research really helped. They made a difference. Now, first of all, I got a WeChat account before leaving. So whilst I was in Nigeria, I had downloaded WeChat. WeChat is their own social media. WeChat is their own WhatsApp, their own mobile app, their own financial, like they do everything with WeChat. They pay for things, they order food, they chat with each other. WeChat is, you cannot do anything in China without WeChat. Obviously you can, but it's just going to be hard. So please, before leaving Nigeria for China, download your WeChat. Another thing is you could get your VPN in before going. But when you get there, your VPN may still not work. And there's a place that as soon as you enter, if it's Guangzhou you're going, I can only speak to Guangzhou, there's a place that you can go straight from the airport to buy your SIM. You buy a SIM card to be able to get internet, and you pay for VPN, and you'll be good. You'll be able to use Instagram, you'll be able to use WhatsApp, YouTube, but you will still not be able to use ChatGPT, at least as of right now. And that was very hard for me because like ChatGPT is like my best friend, so not being able to use it for my duration in China was quite painful, but I mean, I was all right. I thought that it was important to mention that. I was also feeling all the anxiety I was also feeling before the trip, wondering, hey, what's going to happen when I get there? They don't speak English in China. Like, they love their language so much, they don't really care. Yeah, that's another thing. They don't really care for English. They're not trying to speak English to you. So what you need to do is to also get a translation app. But they're very educated. So if you I use Google Translator. Yeah. I typically just write the things that I want to say there. It translates it to China and I show whoever it is that I want to speak to. Yeah, you need a Google Translator or some translator app will be good for you. Now, one of the most exciting things about this trip was that I met a lot of Nigerians at the airport. Clearly, Nigerians going to Guangzhou. And Nigerians are friends. Like, in this country, we may be saying Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, but when we are in another country, we're like brothers and sisters. So I met this guy, Casey, at the airport. I think I met him in Nairobi. He too came from Lagos, but he was in Nairobi whilst we were trying to connect with the Nairobi to Guangzhou leg of the flight. That he saw me and I just told him, me, I'm a greenhorn. And I was like, he's an Igbo businessman. He has been going to Guangzhou for years. So the guy, I just stayed glued to the guy. You know, I also met some ladies. I told them I was going to stay glued to them, but I guess they didn't want me to stay glued to them. So the ladies left me. But you see this Casey guy, he introduced me to his friends. There were about five guys going to China to do stuff, like they're into electronics and everything. So as soon as we got to the airport in Guangzhou, I followed them to Tong Tong Hotel. So there's a place called Tong Tong. If you ever go to Guangzhou, as soon as you land from the airport like this, just go to Tong Tong. Tong Tong is where we got our VPN, we got our SIM card, we got everything that would help us with connectivity. We were able to change money from dollar to their money anyway, and it was really seamless. So those guys that I met, they were really phenomenal towards helping me. Surprisingly, my MTN line worked perfectly, which was a lifesaver, because I was still able to chat with my husband, I was able to chat with my team. So I had roamed my line when I traveled to Zambia last year. And that roaming line keeps working everywhere. Even when I went to Qatar in December, it worked as well. And that's like was really special. Although I think they were taking my money, but I was still excited that I was able to connect with my family. Please don't forget what I said. You need a good translating app. Trust me, it will save you a lot of stress when communicating with the locals. Now, speaking about changing money and all the things I just said now, hey, there is fake money in China. So don't just go and change anywhere. Double check again, because you can change fake money. They can give you fake change. So this is just a side note, something I want you to keep at the side of your hand, that there's plenty fake money in China. So you must be careful where you change your money. Now, the choice of the place you stay when you go to China can make or mar your experience. You know why? Because they don't speak our language. They don't really too care. And see, the only place where I saw I don't know about other cities. In fact, I expected to see a lot of black people in China. I did not see so many. I don't know if it's because it was Guangzhou or anything. The only place that I saw plenty black people were the airport, where all of us were coming from Africa. I saw plenty black people. When I went to Tong Tong, I also saw like black people to change my SIM. But apart from that, I wasn't really seeing black people like that. It's no familiar faces, and they were not speaking English. So the choice of where you stay is very, very crucial to how you would enjoy the experience. And so for me, I stayed at an hotel, and let me just say it was blissful. The hotel was clean and comfortable, and it made my stay in Guangzhou so much easier. No, those people are amazing. Their breakfast buffet is, oh God. The spread, the options. No, I don't even know what. I would have lost my mind if I didn't stay in that hotel, or an hotel that was as good as them. Every afternoon there was also free tea, not just tea, different cakes, bread, and fruits. They almost killed us. Every day they would knock my room to bring banana, apples, watermelon. I'm just like, this. They understood hospitality. I don't know if this is how all the hotels in China is, but I think that stood out to me as special. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So after every long day, after every day where the taxi driver didn't smile at me, where maybe the person who sold something to me was not that friendly, I could always come back to the hotel, and it was beautiful. So in case you're going to be at Guangzhou, you should stay at the hotel. You would love it. Now, if you're planning to visit during the Canton Fair like me, keep in mind that hotel prices are higher during this time. If you're on a tighter budget, consider booking earlier, or maybe don't go during this period, because hotels will definitely double in prices during the Canton Fair. Now, Guangzhou is a bustling city, and while I didn't see as many Nigerians or Africans as I expected, I still felt welcomed. I mean, nobody was trying to go out of their way to greet you, to be polite, but there was no weird racism or anything like that. No, everything was just smooth. And once you're trying to buy something from any of them, they're so nice and sweet. I'll come to that in my next video, where I'll be talking about how to start a manufacturing business using the Canton Fair. I'll tell you about how nice some of the manufacturers that I met were. But just the normal everyday people, they were not even looking at me. That's another thing. You know how you feel like if you are alone in the city, people will be looking at you. Those guys couldn't be bothered. The people are hardworking, they mind their business, and yeah, it was typically good. One tip I'll share when you're there for business is try to stay connected with other Nigerians or fellow travelers. Trust me, those Igbo guys that I met, they were super. I'm sorry that I'm saying Igbo guys, but I'm Yoruba, and yeah, it just they didn't even feel like Igbo guys or an Igbo guy. They just felt like fellow Nigerians, and that is so sweet. They were super helpful. They showed me where to get affordable supplies, and I must really give kudos to Inje Tours. If you ever want to go to China to start a manufacturing business, to visit on a tour, I'd recommend Inje Tours, because those guys not only helped me with getting my visa, they also connected me with other people who had traveled with China before, who could advise me on what I needed to do. Beyond that, they also connected me with a shipping company, so that in case I wanted to ship my things. No, I think Inje Tours were really helpful. They went beyond the call of duty to ensure that my China trip was successful, and I give them credit, especially Tina, the lady in charge. She was truly amazing. She carried my matter on her head, and I appreciate that. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help if you get lost. Having a translating app and a VPN really helps me to navigate the city. So just type everything you want to say and show the person who looks normal. Just a friendly face. Even though there were not a lot of friendly faces, but that's beside the point. So if you're planning a trip to China, especially the city of Guangzhou, I hope this video gives you some insight and helps you prepare. But I would say don't be afraid. You'll be fine. I was very afraid. I was paranoid. Oh, how will I reach my family? What if my VPN doesn't work? Actually, my VPN didn't work at some point, but that's a story for another day. You will get it back. Like, it's not that hard. China is still a city on God's earth. And creators, go there if you want to go there. It's a different world, really. And especially if you're going into manufacturing, that's a place that you must step. My name is Bolanle Oyinda Malaogoshude. Remember, my next video will be all about manufacturing in China through the Canton Fair. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you've been to China or are planning to go, you too, share your advice in the comments. Let's learn from your experiences as well. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.